Pat, just tell us how the off season has gone for you guys, and what you see from your team right now.
Well, we've had a pretty good off season. Did something a little different in June than we're used to. Basically, it was June was all voluntary because we got such a long summer in Jefferson County anyway. But participation's been pretty good. I was excited, after the spring. Obviously, we finished the season with about 23 players last year, and we've almost doubled that throughout the summer. So, depth is going to be a point of emphasis for us, trying to develop some more depth and to spell some guys during games. And we're just, I'm excited. I think we'll be a lot more competitive this year. Obviously, last year was not what we wanted. Yeah, it was. It was a long season, and hopefully we can change that a little bit this year.
What have you done to change things? I mean, what besides adding more players, what's some of the things?
Well,
and also the players, what's different this year? Go ahead, Coach. You can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I know you said besides adding more players, but that was really the point of emphasis for me anyway, is getting more kids involved this year throughout the off season. So I just stopped kids in the hallway, say, hey, you ever thought about playing football? I think you could help us, somewhere. And that was, that got us a lot more kids out. Hopefully they can work hard and earn a spot to contribute. In terms of just scheme wise, I mean, we're not going to be that much different. I mean, we are who we are. And we're probably going to do the same things, offensively and defensively for the most part. But maybe they can elaborate more on.
Guys, what's the atmosphere like there? Is it a different atmosphere this year?
A lot different. Like, we're a little bit more confident, and so you can tell that we're real excited for the season and looking forward to having a much better year than the previous.
I believe that year will be a lot better than last year. Everybody's just more upbeat about themselves, and just glad we have more kids than what we did.
Coach, as you start this season, get ready for this season, which side of football looks like might have the most experience that you depend on the most right now?
Well, at the moment, we're trying to develop more depth, but at the moment we're still kind of Iron Man football, But I would say, obviously at this point early in the season, defense kind of has an advantage. We're running essentially the same scheme we've run in the past, and it just seems like it's easier for kids to pick up on, defensively. So I would say maybe a little bit of an advantage for the defensive side of the ball.
It sounds like from listening to you talk, one of the most important things that you have going or fixing to maybe develop will be that there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The players you have, then you can interchange the players. They rest a little bit. You don't have to play all the time.
Absolutely.
So that would have to be a plus for you, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's probably what I'm most excited about heading into this year is the prospect of being able to rest some kids on both sides of the ball. But just last year we had maybe 14 kids that could actually play. We had some freshmen that I didn't feel like were. To be honest with you, I might have been a little hesitant to put them in on Friday night, afraid they were getting hurt. So having that depth is going to be substantial.
Do you think that this year's team with a little depth and experience, there's the possibility of getting into the playoffs? Is there?
Well, that's obviously the ultimate goal of each year is to make the playoffs. I wouldn't discount it. That's like I said, that's our aiming point. We had 6 seniors last year, and only four of which got significant playing time. So we were basically playing with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors last year. We've got 12 prospective seniors this year. So there's a lot more experience there, and our expectations are much higher than they were. Yeah.
There's no better thing than having experience and different positions, and that comes from, like you say, and adding those numbers.
Yes, sir.
You eventually hope to get to that point.
Yes, sir.
It makes the overall program grow, right?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's the goal.
Pat, you mentioned the struggle. So you guys have 40 plus players.
Yep, we've got 43 as of right now.
And so technically summer workouts are always voluntary, but everybody knows if you don't do them, you're way behind.
Yes, absolutely.
So what led you guys to make June truly voluntary?
Well, I'd had some discussions with coaches in the area that have done that as well, ask them how it worked out, and I had some reservations about it, to be honest with you. Getting them all there in July was my main concern with not, making June mandatory as well. But it worked out well. I guess the thing that made my decision easier was the fact that we don't start school back until much later. We've got essentially a 3-month summer. So that made the decision a little bit easier. So.
And for the players, I mean, what did you guys think about that?
I mean,
They were there most of the time.
I had nothing else better to do this summer. And didn't really think much of it. I was like, you know what? Even though they're voluntary, I still want to get stronger and get better.
And to be honest with you, that's how I made my selection for who to bring up here. Is the guys that had made the most workouts. So.
Coach, you talk about new players, new team. Tell us about some guys maybe we don't know about, that we haven't heard names from yet, that you think might be an impact quarterback, running back. Obviously, you got your running back here.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But tell us somebody that we maybe don't know. Who's starting at quarterback for you this year?
Well, we're going to base out the Notre Dame box. So essentially, there is no quarterback. The tailback takes a snap each time, and Ray J will flip between tailback and fullback. Aside from these two, Logan Sims will run some tailback for us and play some star for us on defense. He didn't play last year. We had a move-in, Gage Capleton, who should, who I think is going to be an impact player. Micah Eaton. He'll play middle linebacker and tight end for us. Mike Eaton's another one. He'll play a tight end and some Sam backer for us. Most of the seniors I'm expecting a lot out of.
You mentioned that you guys run a Notre Dame box, which
Yes,
makes you unique in our area. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but just the most basic question: why did you decide that was a thing for you guys to use?
well, personnel, year in, year out, the Notre Dame box is going to fit our personnel. It's all about numbers and deception. If you don't have just superhuman type players, huge players, you need an advantage like that, either in numbers or deception. So I think year in, year out, that scheme's going to be more beneficial to us. And we're going to try to add to it each year. Some spread elements out of it. In the traditional Notre Dame box, you're shifting every play, from the tee to the box. And so we're going to try to incorporate some, we'll shift into spread and put defenses in a bind, so.
Ray J, before you played for Coach Birchfield, have you even heard of the Notre Dame box?
No, sir.
Okay. So what's it been like trying? I mean, because you can't flip on your TV on Saturday or Sunday and watch somebody run it. So what's that been like for you?
It's definitely been a different experience because it's not commonly used, and it was just I'm all open to learn new things. It was a little challenging at first, having to get the cadence down and all that and the rhythm with it, but it's just second nature to me at this point.
And Pat, you guys have been doing this for 3 years, right?
Well, we started. We installed the box about mid-year last year. We've been a wing tee Notre Dame box team, but this year we're wholesale Notre Dame box. So it's the first time we've actually sold out to it. And I think it's one of those offenses where you can't just halfway do it. You've got to you got to sell out.
Is that sort of what you learned last year when you tried to do some different things?
Absolutely.
Like, hey, if we're going to do it, we got to go with it.
You know, we knew last year was going to be a struggle going into it with the numbers being down. You know, so it was almost like we were chasing our tails, you know, trying to do too much. And I think we learned a valuable lesson from that. So
over the off season, particularly maybe in June, did you visit with some other coaches that have done it? Can you share who you talked to and kind of what, if any, really key advice you felt like you got?
Well, Mike Battles is one that you know, I played for him. He coached at Oak Grove for probably a decade. I played for him and then came back. I actually got hired onto his staff. I went and met with him several times in the spring and talked about the Notre Dame box because they still run it to a certain degree at Tallahassee where he is, and just kind of picked his brain for a long time. I talked to Coach Gilmer for a couple of days at Clay Chalkville just to see how they've organized things, you know, how he runs his program. I've talked to Corners head coach on several occasions, you know, just trying to get ideas, pick everybody's brain, steal a little bit from each one, you know. So,
Coach, got a question for your players, and would be remiss if I didn't ask. What's the one team you guys look forward to playing every year? Don't say every week. I know there's one that you guys will look forward to, so spill the beans.
Well, it's just known in Oak Grove that, you know, looking forward to Corner no matter what, even, you know.
Corner?
Yes, it's just always been a rivalry.
I would say Brookwood.
Brookwood? What's the name again? The guy?
yeah, the Miners pick.
The Miners pick?
Coach, with your offense that be in that box, do you this probably include your running back, quarterback there? Do you get to throw much out of it?
Well, you know, we'll probably be about 85% run, 15% pass. But the good thing about the box is when you do throw it, it's usually somebody wide open. So you don't have to be, you know, incredibly accurate. But like I said, we're going to try to incorporate, you know, some spread elements into the
Like you said,
ball.
you got to be more than that one dimension.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
That works against your guys.
Yes, sir.
So in order to be able to really maximize what you can do, you got to be able to play a little bit.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
thing about it, that element of surprise, if you've got open people and you execute it some, it'll, you know this, and the players do too, it opens up that running game.
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ray J, do you tell people you're a quarterback or a running back, or how do you describe it now? Or you just wait until the first game where they see what you guys are doing?
I usually just tell people I'm the running back because, you know, I really don't always feel like explaining it to everybody because it's a little complicated. Yeah. They don't understand the offense, so, you know, I just usually just say running back.
And, you know, Pat, like you said, I mean, it seems like you're at least hoping that this is going to give you guys an advantage, but because other teams just don't see this.
Yeah, and it's really going to be hard to recreate in practice. You know, it's kind of like playing against a triple option team. It's really hard to get your scout team to replicate that. You know, on a week, you know, when you don't see it very often. So that's what we're kind of hoping. We're kind of hoping that gets us an advantage in that respect as well. So.